Hi everyone, it's Sean from Unwavering Capital. There have been abundant amount of VC and M&A activities in the cloud and AI space. As a tech, media, and telecom analyst, I have been overwhelmed with the amount of news flow, so I thought it would be great for all of us to highlight some of the most notable deals that happened over the last decade. Specifically, I'll be focusing on the deals that major players like AWS, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, IBM, Salesforce, Meta, and SoftBank have engaged in. Please write PowerPoint and Excel in the comment section to request the free copies of these underlying PowerPoint deck and detailed analysis of the 73 deal analysis. With that said, let's get started. Microsoft. It has engaged in 62 AI VC deals in 23 and 24 alone. It plans to spend $81 billion on AI capital expenditure this year. In 2021, it acquired a company called Nuance. It's a speech recognition and AI software as a service company. It bought at 12.6 times sales. It was a $19.70 billion acquisition. And to describe the company, what it does is it's for healthcare, and it basically alleviates the burden of documentation and financial services, retail, and government. And the reason why the company Microsoft acquired it is so that the acquisition will double Microsoft's TAM in the healthcare space to $500 billion. Another deal that Microsoft engaged in and was a $350 million investment in Series B to a company called Adapt Application Synthesis. It's an AI agent. Happened in March 15, 2023. It was valued at $1 billion, and the company raised $415 million to date. Another deal was a $600 million VC investment, Mistral AI. And it was a $600 million VC investment. Happened on June 23rd, 2023. It was a French company. And Microsoft invested $60 million in Mistral as a part of partnership to make the company's AI models available through its Azure. And Mistral AI will use AWS AI chips to accelerate generative AI and bring all of their foundation model to Amazon Bedrock. And that was a side note that I thought was worth noting. Another deal that I wanted to highlight was that happened in March 21st, 2024. It was a reverse acqui-hire of a company called Inflection AI. It was a $650 million deal. To describe the deal, it was an AI foundation model. The rationale of the deal was just so that you can hire most of the startup 70 employees. Another deal was a $1.5 billion investment of G42. It's a cybersecurity. It's a UAE's top AI firm that has business spanning everything from cloud computing to driverless cars. They will set up $1 billion fund for developers, and Microsoft will host some of its own applications in G42's data centers and use the relationship as a way to reach customers in Africa and Central Asia. Another notable relationship was a partnership with BlackRock. They aim to raise $30 to $100 billion to invest in AI infrastructure. That was announced in September 17, 2024. A company you guys might have heard of is a CoreWeave AI cloud provider that recently went public. It's an A cloud provider. Microsoft intended to invest in $10 billion over the next 6 years. I'm sure everyone would have heard about OpenAI. It's a large language model, closed source model. Microsoft have invested $14 billion over 2019, 2021, 2023, last at the valuation of 13.3 times multiple. So Microsoft has about 49% stake. It has a board observer seat. And OpenAI, at the time of its last funding that Microsoft engaged in, was valued at $86 billion in early 2024. In $81 billion public as a service will grow the fastest, driven by AI. And the analysts project that it will grow at 51% CAGR by 2027. AWS, which is the number one hyperscaler in the cloud space, it has engaged in 29 AI VC deals in 2024 and 25 deals so far. It has spent a lot on AI CapEx, and it plans to continue to invest a lot, and that total expenditure expands to be about $172 billion. And they offer a lot of AWS credits as an incentive to startups to use basically their services. Nvidia, obviously everyone knows, but they've been trying to continue to stay as the number one in AI deals. And it as one of many ways it does do so is by basically being very active in the VC space. So in 2023 and 2004, it engaged in 91 VC deals alone. Google, the number 3 hyperscaler, it's basically engaged in 91 AI VC deals in 2024 and 2005. It plans to spend $128 billion in AI CapEx. It's done so last year as well as this year. Reverse acquire will be a pattern, and it's a very crowded market, but I believe that that industry will consolidate. One deal that I thought was worth highlighting is Google investing $100 million into a company called Runway. It's a text-to-video model. Series C was valued at $1.5 billion. It transforms images and videos with text. Another investment that AWS and Nvidia both did was Imbue, a closed source large language model. It was a Series B deal that happened in October 23rd, 2023, valued at $1 billion. The company raised $400 million to date. And the rationale as to why they engaged in the deal was that Imbue stood out with a focus on building smarter agents that can reason their way through problems like humans. AWS also reverse acquired Adapt in the AI foundation model, Series B. Google also did a $2.7 billion reverse acquire of a company called Character AI chatbot. AWS also did a Luma Labs text video model Series C, $90 million investment in December 6, 2024. It's a photorealistic 3D capturing tech for e-commerce. I thought at the time it was pretty fascinating that he has beat OpenAI to market with high fidelity video generation models. But one thing to note was that OpenAI quickly came up with its own text-to-video model, Squrrl, on December 9, 2024. It just shows how quickly technologies are evolving, and it's very important to stay on top of the market. Nvidia invested Series C $6 billion investment to xAI. As everyone knows, it's Elon Musk's AI foundation model. That investment happened on December 23rd, 2024 at $50 billion valuation. That funding will be used to buy Nvidia chips to train AI models. xAI competes with OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and Meta. AWS invested $8 billion in Anthropic at 75 times sales. Despite the pretty big size of investment, AWS doesn't have a board seat in Anthropic. Google also invested in Anthropic at $3 billion at 60 times sales. This is the most recent deal that happened on April 2nd, 2025, where Elon Musk effectively combined X and xAI. xAI was last valued at $50 billion, but it basically quickly valued xAI at $80 billion. And the deal now values the newly combined company called xAI Holdings at $113 billion. It was worth noting that the same Wall Street and legal advisors worked on both sides of the transaction, which is considered highly unorthodox. AWS, still trying to be the number one, and it does so by trying to solve every customer's needs. AWS is also trying to compete with Nvidia by jumping into the chip space, and it basically penetrated that space with this notable M&A deal, which goes back into Annapurna Labs deal that happened all the way in January 2015, when he acquired this chip designer, which was a $350 million deal. And this company develops mid-range networking chips for data centers and transmits more data and uses less power. In February 2016, AWS also acquired a company called Nice, a cloud computing. In March 2017, it acquired Do.com. In June 2021, it acquired Wicker, which it used to basically rolled into Chime. When COVID happened, it basically invested a $108 million investment into Twilio, a communications firm. In March 2024, when there was a huge demand for alternative energy, it acquired a $650 million of its data center campus of Talon Energy, which is a nuclear energy, which is very unorthodox for a tech company to acquire nuclear energy to penetrate that space. And this is Squrrl AI, which is data labeling. It was a Series F, $1 billion investment that happened on May 21st, 2024. The company provides data labeling services to companies that want to train machine learning models. As you know, data is the lifeblood of AI, which is why companies specializing in data management and processing are faring well right now. The company is now valued at $13.8 billion, so it is considered one of the most financially lucrative investment that AWS has made. Sure, AWS didn't intended to make this with the intention of making a financially lucrative company, and it was intended more to be a strategic investment. But Squrrl AI is one of those startups that you guys should be staying on top of. Some players aren't afraid to pay up. IBM, when you acquired a Red Hat on enterprise software at 11.16 times sales, it made the headlines. It was a $34 billion M&A, happened in October 2018. Red Hat Design Manager competes with Google Cloud, Dataflow, Azure Stream Analytics, and AWS and cloud computing. Salesforce acquired Slack at 44 times sales, which is a pretty astronomical sales price, even though we all know what Slack does. It was a pretty high price. Salesforce acquired this company at $28 billion acquisition on December 2020. Nvidia paid Cohere on an AI foundation model at $270 million investment for Series C at 157 times sales on July 2024. IBM also bought HashiCorp, an enterprise software company, at $6.4 billion in April 2024. It's a comprehensive end-to-end hybrid cloud platform, and it's used by 85% of the Fortune 500 company. Meta, which has spent $38 billion on AI CapEx, and this year alone, it plans to spend $65 billion on AI data centers. It recently invested $10 billion into a company called Databricks at 21 times sales in January 2015. Databricks was valued at $62 billion, and it competes with companies like Snowflake. And the company raised $14 billion so far. And a trend that I observed is that hyperscalers are adopting a developer-centric approach. AWS acquired Cloud9, an integrated development environment, on July 14, 2016, a cloud coding collaboration platform. Google acquired Apigee, an application programming interface API management company, at 9.2 times sales for $625 million acquisition on September 2016. Apigee basically provides APIs to hundreds of companies to manage their APIs. Microsoft bought GitHub, a developer platform, at 25 times sales for $8 billion acquisition on June 2018. GitHub, many people know, it basically all hosts $28 million developers from 1.5 million companies to learn, share, and collaborate. AWS also bought another IDE company called Fig on August 23. And Google and AWS both co-invested in Hugging Face for $235 million investment at 142 times sales on August 23 for Hugging Face, a developer platform. Hugging Face was valued at $4.5 billion. And another trend that I have observed is that cloud providers are using M&As to increase switching costs. Google paid $500 million to acquire DeepMind on January 2014. AWS paid about $300 million to acquire Elemental Video Solutions for content. ThinkBox Software, solutions for content creation, on March 2017. CloudEndure, a disaster recovery provider company, in January 2019. Looker Data Analytics, $2.6 billion acquisition, June 19. I'm speeding things up intentionally. If you want to look for details again, please comment on the comment section for a detailed analysis. You'll get a free access to the target description, rationale, and comments on each detailed deal analysis. So don't worry about the details. This quote, cybersecurity is one of the 5 pillars of every service, is what AWS CEO has said. So this is a very important subsector that hyperscalers are paying a lot of attention to. So AWS acquired Harvest AI in July 2017. It also did acquire Squrrl, $40 million acquisition on January 2018. Microsoft acquired CloudNox on July 21st. Google bought Mandiant on March 22. at 12 times sales at $5.4 billion. It's one of its notable deals that Google has acquired. Salesforce acquired OWN, $2 billion acquisitions on September 2024. OWN company provides data archiving, sending, security, analytics, and capabilities to 7,000 customers. This Wiz is a recent deal, March 2025. Google paid 46 times sales. Only time will tell whether it was worth paying up that much. Wiz basically is deployed by over half of Fortune 100 companies. Its solutions for multi-cloud is a fit for the distant third player. Incumbents are acquiring to strengthen their capabilities. So Salesforce bought MuleSoft on API management for 22 times sales on March 2018. Broadcom bought VMware, a virtualization software, for 5 times sales on May 2022. And Nvidia bought Run AI, a compute management platform, on April 2024 for $7 billion acquisition. AMD, this was a recent deal that they recently closed for $5 billion acquisition. This is an example of a reverse acquire where basically it's in the process of selling ZT's manufacturing unit. So it's basically a deal where it was a reverse acquire. So it's taking 1,000 design engineerings and adding them to the AMD data center solutions unit. SoftBank is going all in on AI. SoftBank made a $100 million VC investment on Series C into a company called Builder AI. Happened on May 1st, 2023. The company was valued at $1 billion, a modular app building platform. It also invested in Wave Series C on May 2024. It's a self-learning rather than rule-based system for autonomous driving. SoftBank also made headlines when it basically formed a joint venture with OpenAI and Oracle and Middle Eastern fund to basically raise $500 billion to invest in AI infrastructure. The joint venture is called Stargate, and $500 billion will be spent over the next 4 years. Microsoft is also involved in Stargate as a tech partner. So are ARM and Nvidia. Middle East AI fund MGX will join SoftBank in the investment. MGX first public deal was an investment in OpenAI. If Microsoft can't meet its needs, OpenAI can go to a rival cloud provider to meet its computing capacity. SoftBank bought Ampere, a chip designer, for a $6.5 billion acquisition on March 19, 2024. To describe a little bit about Ampere, it makes process for data center machinery using ARM's technology. The company was valued at $8 billion in a proposed minority investment by SoftBank in 2021. SoftBank also made another headline when it basically invested $40 billion investment in OpenAI at 24 times sales. The funding announcement claims that ChatGPT serves 500 million people every week. The funding comes just a few months after $500 billion JV with backing from SoftBank, Oracle, and Abu Dhabi fund MGX to build out massive AI data centers over the next 4 years. So OpenAI is set to receive $10 billion upfront. The remaining $30 billion is slated to arrive by year's end only if it converts into a for-profit company by then. If not, the reported stands to lose a quarter of the deal. So that's it, folks. Again, if you want to have a detailed look of the detailed analysis of each deal, please write PowerPoint and Excel on the comment section to get free access to the 76 detailed analysis. So goodbye, and I hope you guys stay in touch. Bye.